Do I feel imprisoned? That's it. I feel like I'm in prison.
This old woman is complaining about the elevator in her apartment. But the core problem is the same. Apartments really do feel like prisons. We've all been through it. The pressure that the walls are putting on us. It's not the feeling only in England, America, or Canada. Almost everywhere, we feel that we are trapped in our living spaces and express it as cages, prisons, and wards. Data is also showing it. We are facing more depressions, isolated youth, and more mental problems. Believe or not, it's not just accidental or that cliche that we think after COVID everything changed. I think COVID was that turning point that made us understand where we are really living in. I personally have this feeling whenever I go to countryside or some villa houses, I feel I'm inside a living object. But the exact moment I put my foot inside an apartment block, I feel like a box, empty, a machine for living. A machine for living fits it right. At the end, it's architect's job to design these apartments. And we have this guy, Le Corbusier. He literally thought that apartments and living spaces must be a machine for living in. He may have had good intentions, but his ideas led us to these small, soulless spaces. He gave his idea around 100 years ago. Since then, his idea picked up by states, which are culprits no matter what topic it is. They changed it the way they liked. In Soviet Union, for example, they made panel systems. All around Eastern Europe, you still can see them, and people are living them, or perhaps we can say being jailed in it. But all this is not for today. I mean, today we feel that we are in prison. Even 20-25 years ago, it wasn't like this. It was colorful, had life in it. At that time, these tiny apartments didn't exist. Of course they did. I claimed that living in Eastern Bloc apartments felt like a literal jail. But I have too many friends from there, and they even said to me that these apartments and these buildings has some nostalgia and life in it. A big contradiction to what I'm saying. And this is exactly the question that I was trying to answer for the past few weeks. I look at the apartments that I lived in. All of them felt like a prison, but the more back I went, the more this prison feeling became less. Then I kind of found out why. The first thing I noticed was the light bulbs, and when I compared to what I used to have in my room when I was 7, at first I thought there was no curtain in those pictures, and it was the yellow shining of sun. But it was the light that were yellow, too much yellow. And when I'm writing this, I'm exactly under a blue one. The blue color, or let's say cold colors, made our nervous system more prone to depression and this feeling of prison. Then I checked my phone. It wasn't something strange about it until I opened Instagram. My feed feeding me with the things I don't have and making me comparing my apartment, my bedroom, and even myself to others. The freedom in country yard, big rooms, big halls, and yet most of us stuck in a tiny condo that even don't have a separate bedroom. To get some air, I opened the window, and there it was, the other neighbors on the other block. I can see them, and they can see me. I felt being watched if I stayed a bit longer. Looking back to older photos, not only mine, but around the internet, I found out something way more interesting. I thought it's only coincidence that the walls were colorful back then. Not only beige and gray, living colors I mean, blue, green, and even tones of red. Today, we might think that it's too much, but it wasn't like this. I don't mean 50 years ago. Even 20 years ago, choosing beige and gray was at the end of the list of every painter. But what really happened?
The stock market is now down 21%.
Because we're now down 43%.
2008, the world hit by a financial crisis. Market failed, and this was part of the answer. The people weren't happy, and they didn't want to feel fake happy. They started thinking, well, black and gray aren't bad colors. It even fits our feelings. Then they started making everything gray. If you look at photos of a prison, this minimalistic approach will catch your eyes, and low ceilings is the next thing that is noticeable. At the same time, presidents, kings, and prime ministers living in rooms with a very high ceilings. Low ceilings will make our claustrophobic traits active, and combining with gloomy colors, it will have double effect. But wasn't it like this before? Not exactly. Of course, the ceilings of the apartments weren't that high from the first day, but it weren't this much low. That crisis that I told you had a key part to pressing our ceilings of dream lower and lower, as our ceilings of the apartments we live in. The firms that designing building thought, well, we don't have too much money, but we need to make something. They came up with this cheaper material, lower ceilings, and efficient design. Speaking of efficient design, this is what they mean. Repeated styles, no creativity, and long corridors. Exactly like prison corridors. Another reason for our feelings. You may say, well, in those corridors at least we feel safe. But I ask you, do we have privacy? This one is bothering me the most. The cameras that are watching us everywhere, from the moment we step out of our unit till the moment we left the building. Don't get me wrong, the security they are providing is great, but at the same time, they are invading our privacy at its peak. All of this is for an apartment that isn't gonna be mine at the end of the day. We must not forget this point too, that our fathers could buy an apartment, a good one, in their mid-20s, usually by taking a mortgage. After 25 years, when they were approaching their retirement, they would have become the owner. But for our generation, Gen Z and millennials, the story is much different. Maybe the resentful granny was right. We are truly living in prisons. Surely we are living in bad times. The design sucks, and global comparison and social media amplify our desire to have better. I truly hope that this feeling wouldn't ultimately turn out as a nostalgia like in 20 years. Because honestly, what is this? Let me know your opinions in comments below, and if you like this video, feel free to subscribe for more.